We greet it without thinking. It slips over the rooftops, it spills through curtains, it lands on your skin like a blessing. Morning birds begin, streets wake up, shadows retreat, and above it all, the sun hangs there like the oldest promise ever made. A quiet light, a faithful light, a harmless light. That is the lie distance tells. Because the sun is not calm, it is not still, and it is not silent. It shakes, it pulses, it convulses with pressure waves so immense the whole star rings like metal struck in the dark. It has a voice, a monstrous one. The only reason you do not hear it is because space is a perfect assassin of sound. The vacuum strangles every scream before it reaches us. So dawn is not peace. Dawn is a muted catastrophe. What hangs above your world is not a lantern. It is a sphere of plasma, a nuclear engine chained together by gravity and fury. Its heart crushes matter so brutally that hydrogen is forced into fusion and that violence feeds the daylight you trust. The warmth on your face is not kindness. It is fallout from a controlled stellar crime. And this is happening now. Every second, the sun churns like a boiling ocean with no floor. Towers of plasma rise and collapse. Magnetic fields knot themselves into invisible cables, tightening, straining, twisting under stress. The surface you imagine does not exist in any human sense. There is no ground there, no place to stand. Only brightness hiding motion, too violent for the eye to understand. From Earth it looks clean, simple, sacred. Up close it is a machine made of instability. And that would be terrifying enough if the violence stayed inside the star. It does not. The sun throws pieces of its temper into space, solar flares, radiation bursts, coronal mass ejections. Vast clouds of charged plasma hurled outward at murderous speed, racing across the system like shrapnel from an explosion that never truly ends. We call space empty, but Earth lives inside the sun's breath. Its wind never stops. A constant stream of charged particles pours outward, filling the dark with pressure, static, and invisible assault. Our planet is not merely orbiting the sun, it is submerged in its atmosphere. We move inside the reach of a star that never stops touching us. And most days, we survive only because the attack is partial. But the deeper horror is not its violence, it is its wrongness. Fire is supposed to cool as you move away from it. That is the rule your body understands. Step back from the flame and the heat loosens its grip. But around the sun, the law seems to break. Its visible surface burns at thousands of degrees. Above it, the corona, the ghostly outer atmosphere, climbs into the millions. The farther from the visible fire, the hotter the wound becomes. That is not comfort. That is a riddle. A star whose skin is cooler than its halo. A furnace with a crown hotter than its flesh. The sun does not merely burn, it behaves like something withholding part of the truth. And it gets stranger. Roughly every 11 years, the star begins to writhe, its activity climbs. Sunspots spread like bruises. Flares multiply, storms intensify. Then the whole magnetic architecture buckles and reverses. North becomes south, south becomes north. The sun does not just rage, it periodically rewrites itself. Imagine living beside a beast whose bones rearrange on a schedule. That is our star. If you feel the ground growing less certain beneath this story, stay with me. Subscribe and keep following this descent into the quiet machinery above our heads. Some mysteries do not end when the screen goes dark. They wait for the next time you look up. Because when the sun lashes outward, the damage is not poetic. It is electrical. In 1859, the star struck hard enough to wound the telegraph world. Wires sparked, systems failed. Operators were shocked at their stations. The sky itself bled auroras into latitudes where they did not belong. That storm is remembered as the Carrington event. But names make disasters sound smaller than they are. What mattered was the message. The sun can reach into human civilization and put its fingers on the switch. If a storm of that scale tears through our world now, it does not just paint the sky. It stalks satellites, it blinds navigation, it corrupts communication, it shakes power grids until cities lose memory of themselves. Elevators stop, Screens die, aircraft reroute, networks collapse into silence. The modern world is a cathedral of electricity, and the sun knows exactly how to burn through stained glass. We built our civilization under a star we cannot negotiate with. Even the clock in your body, the crops in your fields, the weather over your oceans, all answer to a power that can become a weapon. And there is already a warning preserved in the inner solar system. Look at Venus. From a distance, it sounds almost familiar. Rocky, planet-sized, a near twin in structure, the kind of world you could almost mistake for a second chance. But Venus is not a sister waiting for us. It is a prophecy left out in the heat. Its atmosphere became a trap. Heat went in and never truly came back out. Oceans, if they once existed, were erased. What remained was pressure, poison, and a furnace world hot enough to humiliate metal. Venus is what happens when a living-looking planet crosses a line and cannot return. It is not another Earth. It is an obituary written in sunlight. And yet the sun is not only executioner. This is the part that makes the story unbearable. The same star that can sterilize worlds also carved the narrow distance where water stays liquid and biology can begin. Earth exists inside that thin corridor of mercy. Not too near, not too far. A slender band where oceans persist, air survives, and cells can dare to multiply. We owe everything to that balance, and we control none of it. Beyond the inner furnace, hope changes shape. It retreats from open skies. It hides under the ice of Europa, in the buried ocean of Enceladus, in dark water sealed away from radiation, from vacuum, from the naked cruelty of exposed space. Life, if it waits there, may endure not by worshipping sunlight, but by escaping it. That is the paradox. The sun feeds life. The sun drives life into hiding. So humanity did the most dangerous thing curiosity can do. We sent witnesses. Parker Solar Probe did not just observe the sun from a respectful distance, it descended toward it. A piece of our species wrapped in carbon armor and mathematics, falling inward through the star's outer dominion, entering the corona itself, touching the atmosphere of the thing that rules every day of your life. Think about what that means. We built a machine and pushed it into a god's wound just to listen. And it was not alone. Solar Orbiter watched the poles, peering at the sun from angles Earth never gets to see, exposing the architecture of its magnetic madness. Far beyond the planets, Voyager crossed the heliopause and showed us something colder still. The sun's authority extends billions of miles into the dark, forming a vast protective bubble against harsher interstellar radiation. So the monster has a second face. It menaces us, and it shelters us. It is not only the source of danger, it is also the shield holding back a deeper one. That is why the sun is more frightening than any simple villain. A villain can be escaped, the sun cannot. It warms your oceans, powers your climate, writes your seasons, feeds your crops, and fills your sky with the illusion of permanence. But every gift it gives comes with a clause. Every sunrise is a contract written in forces you do not command, and the contract has an ending. Not today, not tomorrow, but soon in the language of stars. As the sun ages, it brightens. Slowly, relentlessly. In another 1 or 2 billion years, that slight increase will be enough to turn Earth against itself. Oceans will begin to vanish into the air. Heat will accumulate. The balance will fail. The world that carried forests, rain, memory, and every human grave will drift towards sterility long before the sun itself dies. It does not need to explode to kill us. It only needs to become a little more itself. And then comes the final transformation. The core will change, the outer layers will swell, the sun will bloat into a red giant, vast and old and impossible to appease. Mercury will go first, Venus will follow, Earth may be swallowed too, or scorched so completely that the distinction stops mattering. The star that authored our beginning will eventually erase the page. No monument will survive that fire, no name, no empire, no prayer. Only the star, expanding through the ruins of everything that once called it home. So the next time morning arrives softly over your window, do not mistake softness for innocence. The golden light on your hands is real. The comfort is real. But it is borrowed. Above you hangs a screaming engine wrapped in silence, a patient sovereign of plasma, a radiant judge that gave you life without ever promising to keep it. If this is the kind of darkness you want to keep walking into, subscribe and return for the next mystery waiting behind the sky. Until then, when sunlight touches your face, remember this: the universe does not need hatred to destroy you. It only needs time. And a star.